viewers, greetings and welcome to this episode of Leadership Matters, a video series highlighting the stories and experiences of global leaders and providing leadership advice. The series is hosted by Avinash Ananda, a recognized leadership advisor, happiness strategist, and a motivational keynote speaker. Over the course of more than 30 years, Avinash has personally mentored more than 1,000 leaders and trainers and trained more than 1 million individuals from all walks of life in 30 countries. Our special guest for today's episode is Sonica Aron, founder and managing director of Marching Sheep. With over 20 years of experience in HR and diversity and inclusion, Sonica has designed one of the most advanced D&I frameworks to address real issues faced by individuals of underrepresented groups. An XLRI Jamshedpur postgraduate and certified coach, she has worked with companies such as PepsiCo, Vodafone, Roche Diagnostics India, neighboring markets, and ICI Paints. Before founding Marching Sheep in 2013, she was the head of HR for Philips in India. As a mother of two, she established Marching Sheep with a vision of making a difference in people's lives and careers and promoting respect and equality for all.
Welcome, viewers, to yet another episode of Leadership Matters, and I'm here with Sonica. Sonica, how are you doing today?
Very well and very excited about this.
I was chatting with Sonica for just a few minutes before we started the recording, and she said such wonderful things that I said, "Stop, stop, stop! Please, we need to record this." So we stopped and we started recording. So, Sonica's profile you've just heard. It's a very impressive profile. And the interesting thing about Sonica I found is that she's been in the HR field right from the beginning, and she seems happy. How did that happen, Sonica?
I enjoy what I do. It doesn't seem like work.
Lovely, lovely. So, what drives you? Because I noticed in our few minutes before we started that you are very driven and mission oriented. Please do share what is it that drives you? What motivates you? What makes you so happy
What makes me so happy?
at work?
So the work we do, the purpose with which I started Marching Sheep, it says, make a difference to people's lives and careers and drive respect and equality for all. And everything we do
Could you repeat that? Could you repeat that? Make a difference
to people's lives and
people's lives.
careers
Yeah,
and drive respect and equality for all.
lovely, lovely.
So everything we do, everything that we do through corporates, even though it is sponsored by a company, leadership, HR, end of the day, we end up working with people. Whether it is a learning intervention, whether it is a diversity and inclusion intervention, whether it is in the space of stress management, it impacts people, it impacts their lives, it impacts the way they grow in their careers. And that gives us a lot of satisfaction. The day I do a good session, I sleep very well. One of my team members say that, we've had a good session. And she would say, Sonica, you would be so tired, you should rest on the flight. But I would be so happy and excited that I would be bubbling with energy and I would not be able to sleep on the flight or rest on the flight. I would be so excited and happy. So that is what makes me happy. That is what makes me tick. And these two purpose statements practically run through everything we do. Apart from a lot of commercial work we do, Avinash, we do a lot of non-commercial work. When we work with, so we work in the space of inclusion of people with disabilities or LGBTQ community. So we work with, let's say, transgender persons, or we work with acid attack survivors, and we work with them closely on the ground. And if we are able to make a difference to people's lives and community one at a time, even if we can impact one life, it makes us happy. It makes me happy. So that is that, you said what makes you happy. I just told you what made me happy.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I love the intensity and clarity. Tell me something, Sonika. Where does this come from? Has this come as a result of your education, or as a result of some experiences you had, or is this something that you found is uh, is just necessary and it's a gap? Because DEI is also something today all over the world is being spoken about, thankfully, and people are at least attempting to reach certain standards in this field. But what is it that got you into this space?
Very interesting question. So it's a little bit of a mix of everything. Experiences is what shapes us, right?
Mm,
So when I was working in the corporate sector, when I started my career, Avinash, diversity, equity, and inclusion was not even being spoken about in the best of organizations. Even though women were getting hired, I don't think diversity, equity, and inclusion was even a part of any HR strategy. Forget about business strategy, right? There was no POSH. Before POSH, there used to be Vishaka guidelines, but even the best of organizations were not educating their employees about Vishaka guidelines. And willy nilly, there used to be microaggressions. So if you hired a female management trainee, uh, what would you do when she gets married? She will get married, right? And do you have a plan of retention, of relocation? What would you do? There was no plan.
mm.
So there were these experiences, but having said that, I sometimes wonder, what have I done to be born cisgender heterosexual,
Mm.
uh, and therefore not abandoned by my family, not bullied in school, not mocked. I was not forced to leave home, not forced to beg on the streets, not forced into sex trade. Now, this is a privilege that I have not earned, right? And a lot of people from the LGBTQ community do not have that privilege. Um, I was born able bodied. I have not earned that privilege. Now, I sometimes believe that living in our own cocoon, we do not realize our privilege. And what is the point of the privilege if we cannot leverage that privilege?
What was there something that happened in your life that triggered this, or something you saw, or was it just something that came to you? You reflected on it and came to you.
I think, when I started Marching Sheep, this is a space which helps you evolve when you are consulting, meeting with people, getting involved with them, really getting curious, really wanting to, making a difference.
Mm,
The more I got involved and the deeper I got, I evolved with it.
mm,
And I learned with it. I
mm,
grew with it.
mm,
And as I grew, I realized that I can either be superficial
mm,
and do it as a business,
mm,
or if I really want to make a difference, I really need to get my hands dirty. I need to go deeper
mm,
and make a difference on ground, even if it is one at a time.
mm, mm.
So
Amazing. What was it that you had? You had a great career as a HR person. You were head of HR at Philips. You worked with several other organizations. We just heard the list. What is it that made you start Marching Sheep, and why do you call it Marching Sheep?
very nice question. So I'm very grateful to that career because I learned a lot. I
Mm,
had some great mentors, great managers. and some managers who also taught me what not to do.
Or not to be like them,
Or not to be like them.
huh?
Um, but uh, when you are working in an organization and you learn processes, you learn you learn the fact that when you do things with the right intent, you
Mm,
get the right results.
mm,
And when I did that at Marching Sheep, but I realized that I was getting the right results with my clients.
mm,
When I was on the other side, when I was working with a lot of um, let's say learning providers or solution providers, there were a lot of times we did things with a big bang. All I
mm,
was left with was a big bill and no change in behavior or outcomes.
mm.
And that was something I didn't want in my consulting firm. So I made a statement, that with the right processes and the right intent, you can make sheep march. And that stuck.
Right,
And Marching Sheep was born. And
right,
that is what and that is why we say that we do not push canned products to in fact, we don't have a product portfolio.
right.
Service organization, we speak to our clients, we understand what is your problem statement, what do you want to drive, what do you want to change, help us understand, let us become your partner, and then we will give you a solution.
Nice,
Yeah.
fantastic. The personal life is also there, or all of it is consumed by marching sheep. And do you make sheep march at home?
Oh, totally. So I
Who are the sheep there?
I have two children. My
You're
son
dangerous,
Kabir
Sonika.
is
You
my
have two
son.
children. Yeah,
Yeah,
you have
sorry.
two children. You have a son.
I have a son Kabir. He's 15 years old.
Okay.
My daughter Ira is 10 years old. In fact,
Uh-huh.
Ira was 3 months old when Marching Sheep was born. So she and Marching Sheep have practically grown up
Yeah,
together. Uh,
siblings.
I have a dog, Daenerys.
Uh-huh.
Uh, so she is the one who gives me unconditional love. I have two cats, Ginger and
Wow.
Cookie, and I have one husband.
What's
So
his name?
Alok.
Okay,
Uh,
you mentioned all the others, no, so you shouldn't be left out.
so he really holds me. He tolerates me. He's the one who listens to everything morning and evening. This is what happened. This is what happened. So yeah, we have to speak to each other morning and evening. And making sheep march, you will not believe, my son Kabir works with me on acid attack survivor rehabilitation.
Wow.
He's extremely passionate about that. My daughter Ira, she works on stray dog rehabilitation.
Mm-hmm.
uh, the whole family recently worked together in raising funds for an acid attack survivor surgery.
Mm-hmm.
My children took to baking cookies and selling them house to house and raised funds so that we were not short one day before the surgery. So
Amazing, amazing. Hmm. That's great. Tell me, Sonika, where are you right now geographically?
I'm in Delhi.
Okay, that's nice. I'm in Bangalore right now. I live in Mumbai. And your field is very close to my heart because I've been teaching happiness for over 30 years, and people 30 years ago were wondering, why are you teaching happiness? I mean, nobody can be taught happiness, huh? But now, after the pandemic and after this realization of the need for mental health, I've taught about 1 million people. Now I want to take it to 1 billion, so I'm using technology and like-minded people. So I understand that the field that you were in right from the beginning, or the passion that you have, is not something that can be duplicated by somebody. No, it's been your life. It's something that your heart is into, and then you've worked on it so long. And today it so happens that people are talking about diversity, equity, inclusiveness, but you have been doing it throughout. What is it from your perspective that DEI is, and how does it help an organization?
Very interesting. Avinash, people like to put labels as far as diversity is concerned.
Sure.
People put labels and say diversity is all about having more women in an organization.
Mm-hmm.
Or they will say diversity is about having multi-generational workforce, or it is about LGBTQ community, or it's about people with disability, or races, or ethnicities. But if you really think about it, each one of us is a unique individual. Even if you put four
Nice.
women together in an organization, every woman would be from a different life stage. Somebody might be single, somebody might be married, somebody might be dating, somebody might be a single
What I
parent.
got, Sonika, sorry for interrupting you. I was thinking of your family.
Mm.
With your doggies and your cats and your husband and your children and you, there's so much DEI right there.
Bingo! And we are one family,
That's right. That's right.
right?
Super. Lovely.
So, coming back, even within women employees in an organization, while we like to bucket them as women employees,
Yeah.
every woman is unique.
True.
They will have different educational background, different work experience, different way of communication, different thought processes. So that is why we say that diversity is a fact,
Mm.
but inclusion is a choice.
Nice. I love it.
Do I choose to respect those differences?
Sure.
Like you said, that my family has diversity. Do I choose to respect that my son, even though he's my son, he might choose not to follow a traditional path, become a doctor, engineer, do MBA, choose to become the CEO of Marching Sheep after me? He might want to do whatever he wants. Do I choose to respect his thought processes and his mindset?
Mm.
That is a choice, respecting differences.
Lovely. And that's the inclusion part.
That is inclusion. Now, equity, people often
Mm.
think equity, equality.
Mm.
Equity is when I systemically remove barriers.
Mm.
Now, my daughter and my son
Mm.
both are being brought up in the same household,
Mm.
right? Both have the same upbringing. Both are being given equal uh, parenting. But when I say that, kiddos, you have a choice.
Mm.
What extracurriculars you want to do? I am not saying, okay, there is debating, there is soccer, there is XYZ, these 5 choices, isi mein se choose karo. Choose
Mm-hmm.
out of these 5.
Mm.
Because this is the policy of the house.
Mm.
So systemically, I am forcing them to choose.
Mm.
But if I systemically remove barriers and say, what is your interest? How is it that you want to grow?
Mm.
That is equity.
Mm. So equality or removal of barriers of opportunity is what you're calling equity, right?
Equality is when I send both my children for soccer.
Got it.
Equity is when my son says, I don't like soccer, I like debating.
Sure. So
And
it's
I say,
so beautiful because all of it is connected in some way with respect.
yeah.
Hmm?
And then when D, E, and I intersect,
Hmm.
the outcome is belonging.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
So diversity is a fact, inclusion is a choice, equity is action because
Mm.
it requires you to systemically remove barriers.
Mm. Allowing them to choose.
Allowing them to choose. Being
Brilliant, brilliant,
is belonging, is an outcome.
brilliant. If you really think about it, Sonika, even our country, as a country, I'm not talking about the politics of it, it has got so much of diversity and inclusion. And the equity, if you look at it, if you remove the barriers that are created by the ones who are giving the barriers, and you're looking at it from an individual point of view, people do have a choice. I think it's beautiful. Uh, This whole, I travel all over the world and I speak about India, and I speak about what we have and the Western concepts and the Indian concepts, and I use Namaste. This just came to mind right now when you were talking. It's so powerful the way you put it. You say diversity is a reality, inclusion is. Uh, uh, how do you put it?
Choice.
Inclusion is a choice, and equity is the action, or the providing of a system that removes barriers. Beautiful. I love it. I love it. So in Namaste, we say that, I honor the world in which uh, you reside. I honor your love, your joy, your uniqueness. And if I am in this place in me and you are in that place in you, there is only one of us. Yeah, that's so powerful. Lovely. Sonika, what is it that you're looking forward to next? Or are you enjoying so much this uh, helping each individual as you go along your path? Would you have any plans to do something different or to scale it up, or uh, what's on the cards for the future?
We have been continuously growing, Avinash. We are already doing interventions across all continents. We've delivered in more than 80 countries, and we intend to continue growing. We are expanding as we speak. I'm hiring.
Lovely, lovely.
Uh,
Are you more of a leader at this stage? Do you see yourself more of a leader or more of a facilitator or change catalyst? What are the roles that you play, and which is the role that you like the best?
Very difficult question. I
I
think I'm
know.
a facilitator. I like I like I think I'm a facilitator because uh, I like it when my team grows. I like it when my team blooms, and I like it when I can facilitate their growth. I like it when my clients succeed. They get their outcomes, and I can
So it
facilitate.
doesn't matter if you're doing it yourself or not, as long as it happens. Is that way?
And I can play a role in it.
Lovely, of course, of course. You influence it. So, is there a difference between women leaders and men leaders? I'm not talking about how people treat them. I'm talking about them.
Hmm. I think there is a lot of stereotyping around it. I've seen a lot of men leaders also drive this. Yesterday, in fact, I was speaking to a leader from one of my clients, and I could see the same traits where he wanted to facilitate his the leaders. He was leading
Were you
to
surprised?
hmm?
Were you surprised?
At all.
Oh, thank
In
God.
fact, another leader that who has now become a very good friend, I met him last year.
Right.
He is exactly the same, and I think there is a lot of stereotyping.
Yeah.
And I think that is also because of the way the society has socially conditioned men and women, and there are
Sure.
gender norms.
Sure.
If we allow for the space for for men and women to break that cycle,
Mhm.
allow for that cycle breakers
Mhm.
be themselves, their authentic selves, I think we will see a lot of natural leadership styles to emerge.
Amazing. Uh, I loved what you said earlier about the fact that none of us who are able bodied or who are of a particular orientation have played any role to deserve whatever we have in terms of any privileges or any orientation. What is the role of luck in life, according to you? Destiny, luck,
It can
in
change
success.
at any time. Don't take it for granted.
Uh-huh.
Be grateful.
Right.
And I think there are good times and there are bad times for
Hmm.
everyone. Life is never a straight line.
Because this is beautiful. When you make sheep march, you're taking life in your own hands, or you're taking even their growth in your own hands. Uh, but then you talk about luck. How do you reconcile these two things?
It's a lot of responsibility, Avinash.
Hmm.
When COVID struck, from a flourishing business, overnight we became zero revenue.
Hmm.
I had sleepless nights. It was not
Hmm.
about me, it
Yeah,
was about the
all the
team,
people do it. Yeah.
right?
How big
And
is your team?
imagine the fear that how will I give them salaries?
Hmm.
And I did not want to let them go. They were
Hmm.
good people. So I called a meeting and I said, listen, folks, this is where we are. I promise you, I am not going to terminate anybody's employment. I promise nobody is going on furlough. I promise nobody's salary is going to get cut. But we are going to work very hard. Let's
Hmm.
find out how we can reinvent ourselves.
Hmm.
What is it that clients are going to need at this time? What we were doing till now is no longer relevant.
Hmm.
What is it that they will need at this time? Do they need policies for work from home? Do they need how to keep their employees engaged while working from home? Do they need support for their managers, for their HR people, for the IT folks? What is it that they need? Let's give them that. And right now, they might not want to pay us. Let them pay later, 6 months later, 3 months later. Let us give them a credit period. Your salaries might come late, but they'll come. So, complete transparency. And I did not lose a single person, and
How
we
big was your team then?
5 people,
How big is it now? Is it grown or no?
7 people, eight, will be
Okay.
nine
Okay.
in a few days.
Nice. Nice. Lovely. Lovely.
And the important part is that there were times when I would dip into my savings because there were people who had EMIs.
Hmm.
Banks will not hold on for an
True. True.
EMI.
True.
There were clients who actually held back for a year in payments, and I'm talking about clients who had deep pockets.
Sure.
Uh, they didn't pay us.
Sonika, you won a lot of awards also. I also heard, I think, from Salman, you got some award during the COVID time, and you recently won from White Page International also something. What are these awards all about, and how do they feel?
So I think when you do on ground work, when you are genuinely making a difference to someone's life, it gets noticed.
Hmm.
I think that is where it comes from, and I think good karma always comes back.
Hmm. It's a byproduct, no?
It's a byproduct.
Right. Something has been forming in my mind. What I usually do is when I speak to interesting people, I pull out some lessons from what they speak, and I put it and it's happening right now. So I've got some qualities. I think that are worthy of emulation, or some qualities that you've displayed, which I'm putting into an acronym connected with your name. And based on our conversation. So can I give that to you right now?
Please.
It's like right here. You want to write it down because in case I forget, then you have something. S for me stands for sincerity.
Yeah.
Hmm. Uh, I noticed something very interesting about you, Sonika. I mentioned to you a little earlier also. You have this like two different channels. Uh,
Mm.
one channel is when you're talking serious things. One channel is when you're smiling. When you're smiling, even your eyes light up. Uh, it's like a complete two different people in one, but with a not even a switch. It's a gradual transition. It's beautiful. I was just watching that and observing that. Um, So I would say sincerity and seriousness at the same time. I don't mean serious in the form of uh, grumpiness. I'm talking about seriousness in the form of um, being sure about what you're doing, and not taking what other people take for granted, not taking it for granted, taking it seriously. huh? So sincerity and seriousness. Or what comes to my mind is you have an optimism. huh? It's not that you're giving up or that you're looking at things and saying, "Ki, okay, this is all I can do." You're taking on more. So there's two things: there's optimism and there's ownership. Uh, my mother always used to tell me, uh, actually still tells me, हाँ, गधे को तुम बेहतर गधा बना सकते हो तुम्हारे ट्रेनिंग से, घोड़ा नहीं बना सकते. हाँ? Right? You can, if you work with a donkey, you can maybe facilitate the donkey's growth to be a better donkey, but not a horse. Huh? Uh, Sheep marching, wow, amazing. Huh? So this takes ownership,
Thank
and
you.
optimism. Lovely, lovely. The end that comes to my mind is need-based value addition. It's a very long thing, but you look at what the person needs and give them what they need instead of going with a bag full of goodies and asking them to choose amongst that. Huh? And this need-based value addition, somewhere in my mind, strangely aligns with your whole thing of uh, equity, which is choice.
Yeah.
Huh? You're giving them a choice to solve their problems, and you do it for them. It's all day oriented, it's need based. That's powerful. And the other end that comes to my mind is nice. You're genuinely a nice person. Huh? Nice people on this planet, you and your lovely family, including your dogs and cats. Huh? Um, I is intensity. There's great intensity in whatever you say, in whatever you do. God bless the people who are not able to take that intensity, because that intensity comes from intensity comes from a passion. No? But that passion, in my experience, cannot be always understood by everybody. Uh, It could be misunderstood as aggression, or could be misunderstood as impractical. But I think it's brilliant because the world needs it. Intensity. The other eye that comes, I'm giving you two for each. Huh? Other eye that comes is integrity. Mm. You're very aligned in what you believe and what you do. You live a life of integrity. I don't think you'd be comfortable if any one thing was off. Um, C is so many C's here. C is confident, clear, confidence, clarity, communication, and also compassion. Mm. And the lovely thing about your compassion is that it is permeating, it is radiating. Huh? I love the fact that your son is involved, your daughter is involved in their own pet projects, which are helping humanity. Amazing in their own way. A, help me with this, Sonika.
Hmm.
Articulate, authentic, aligned. This is what comes to my mind. How do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you.
This is what I got from our conversation right now. I'm sure longer conversation will take on many, many more things. Okay. So, viewers, I hope you were inspired by or also entertained and interested in our conversation. There's so many things that we can learn from whatever we listen to. And Sonika, it was such a delight to speak with you. I love the fact that you are, how do I put this? Another S, self-effacing in a way.
Yeah.
Huh? You know what self-effacing? Self-effacing is when you don't think about you think beyond yourself. Huh? When you think beyond yourself, and you don't exist at that time because your entire focus is on your project or your mission. Huh? It's not about me, it's about that. That is self-effacing. That's
Right.
beautiful how you do that. Huh? At the same time, retaining your identity of and your confidence of self.
Thank you. And I so enjoyed talking to you, Avinash. I think let's keep in touch. I
We should. We
really
will.
enjoyed myself.
Lovely, lovely. Yeah? My love, best wishes to your entire family, and take care. We'll be in touch. Thank you so much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye bye.
Thanks.